Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists and healthcare centres. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Ah. Welcome, everyone, to the 300th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, October 31st, 2019. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. I'm your host today, along with Flint Mulhausen. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe, who's been here enduring me and other knowledge seekers for the last 299 knowledge seekers workshops. Can you imagine that, Mr. Keshe, when we first began? Maybe you could, but I wasn't so sure.
Yes,
Are
good
you
morning,
there?
good day to you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good day to you. As I said, good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these knowledge seekers' teachings. Yes, I remember the first time and the time after. He said, "Can you just come and do one talk about the plasma?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Can we do it next week?" And then it became the next week. And then it's actually is more than 310, 320 teachings, but knowledge seekers is about 300. We learned a lot, we taught a lot, we shared a lot. Some people have benefited by it immensely. Uh, and we try to understand more. We became from scientific group to understanding more about the structure of the universe, the structure of the things we never understood. And somehow in the middle, a lot of people took us as a religious count because now they found out what was promised is not there. The soul and the Holy Spirit and the soul of the man being somewhere else now has found a box and a place and is called the brain of the man. And some people thought we become what we call a new cult, and they tried to start worshiping. They couldn't build any temples and they couldn't find any rabbis to worship. We all became to be equal and we start understanding sharing knowledge does not bring what we call superiority to no one. And in so many ways, 300 hours of teaching, 300 hours of sharing knowledge. Um, Average, let's say 3-4 hours is nearly over 1,000 hours of teaching. Overall, foundation has something like 2,000 hours of teaching, private teaching by personally by me, and no messengers of creator has ever left so much knowledge equally at the same time with any of the time of the man or anyone in the universe. We share knowledge as messengers to elevate the man and the soul of the man to a new height. And we understand from now on, we go into the direction to understand more. As I said, by 300 teaching, we stop teaching what it is, but we start teaching more on the dimension of universal understanding, even though some of it will go back on physical understanding that the man can relate. My work, as I was telling Caroline this morning, if we do another 3,000 sessions, we still haven't learned a drop about the knowledge of universe. And as you've seen, every time we come, we teach in small short bursts or long short, more long sessions, knowledge of the universe. I never write any scripts. What comes is the knowledge of the creator. And it comes as a natural as is as we do. So in so many ways, those who've been around me when I teach have seen the knowledge is shared with man from the knowledge of the creator. And it does not matter what who says what says. We do our job. There is a plan in what we do, and in so many ways, all the wrongs you see, there is a reason for it. All the rights you see, there is a reason for it. But in overall, as of these sessions and past couple of sessions, we have brought and we bring the totality to a new dimension. What the video we saw is a new technology, never seen. In the coming days, we will show more astonishing technologies man has never seen. Then we dictate the conditions and terms of use. This is very, very simple. You will understand. I make energy free of shackles of the material. I make food free of shackles of this planet. I'll make man to understand more about himself, that he gets confident that he is and he can be, in a way, part of the totality. It's him who lets himself down to be. I have no problem with whatever has been showered on us, good and bad. And at the same time, we are very reserved. We can do things that no one can ever imagine can be done. We promised the bringing of this peace, end of the wars. That was the biggest promise of all the messages of the past, and I have fulfilled it. There shall be no more war. We've seen every attempt was made by every nation, powerful and meager, to start, but one after another is shut down. There shall be no more war on this planet. That's what we decided. We are the creators and we decide on what we created to oblige. Mankind will move into a new dimension of understanding from now on. You will understand more as we start opening the knowledge of the universe. We are committed to our work. It does not matter what people say. You got to understand, I wear three different hats. One hat as a messenger, one hat as a scientist, and one hat as a man. And it's not very easy to work within the three and understanding of the totality. And in so many ways, we got to understand we speak on three languages, and it's for those who listen to understand which one is which. I don't switch up and I say this is this part and this is that part. As you've seen, we get even involved in the business of the man bringing knowledge of God into the market of American states, in the stock market. We see what they've done to it, and you will see what will happen to it. We don't interfere. We can meddle in so many ways with what you see in the American stock market. Is not our job. We have decided to be there as a point of us being able to break the embargo on the foundation and work of us. And it has worked. We see in the background. Big corporations have bought shares. Some corporations have bought shares. Some insurance companies have bought shares. And now they drop. They're asking why. They're questioning what's the validity of the stupid 12,000 fraud which Belgium has put on. Now, state of Belgium is under question. It's exactly what I wanted. For me to fight was too difficult, but now the insurance companies bought 1 million shares, 10 million shares, the institutes are buying shares. They question, they have to answer to the shareholders. And this is what they do for us. You will see change in the course, not out of our unknowing. I knew exactly what is going to be the position. And now we see people are not made to be so quiet and do the job quietly. People will take action. And in so many ways, the more we put, the more actions we'll see. As you will understand, the expansion of the knowledge is beyond understanding of the man. As long as I'm here, I try to teach. I've taken two sections of my life, part of the foundation out. My private life has become totally private, and my what we call public life is what you see. The messengers, as a messenger of God, we share what we like. I am the promised one. There is no doubt about it. The amount of knowledge I shared is unmatchable. We wait till it's completed, and then you will understand. The prophecy of the past is fulfilled in every shape and form. And in so many ways, I have no problem in teaching more because there are a number of souls who have elevated to understand the next step. And these, they become the candles of the future of mankind rise. We play the games of the man because that's how man likes to play to confirm he exists. We see deceptions, we see fraud, we see everything else. We see stealing from the foundation, we see so many put their lives on the line for the foundation. We've seen many people have risked it. We see many people have tried it to risk it. But it all goes to where we want. The goal is what we said, and it'll be there. As you've seen in the video of the system is changing man's life. This system will change humanity's life. As we said, the first unit, let's go to Germany. We seen the first units being going to United Kingdom and Thailand. Orders comes through for another country. We see and what we done agreement. The first KF Spaceship Health Center will open in the state of Arizona, United States, with 10 units. The contract has been signed and the systems will be delivered. This center will run under Keshe Foundation KF Spaceship, what we call Arizona, and is not owned by KF Global. It's a private venture of the Keshe Foundation in collaboration with American partners. This center will open around January and will be very much a space lab of the what we call the time to come, 22nd century. Last night we were with the state officials, people who advise, and they know and that what we are planning to do and what is being set up. This center will be the center point of the presentation of the Keshe Foundation Space System prior to opening of the manufacturing and space center in Arizona. The Arizona KF spaceship 10 units will be matched with the 10 units in Tehran. As we said, we bring the two sides together. The Iran and Arizona will open the same day simultaneously. I'll be in Tehran and Arman will be most probably in Arizona for the opening. And we'll see the Keshe Foundation at the same time. We try to open the same structure in China around about the same time with the same unit. These are operational commercial systems, not research, as you will see. Therefore, as we said, we keep the promise. The first, more or less, 50 units will be spread by January across the planet at the same time that we keep our ethos on our work. As you were aware, we showed the technology in Vienna in the first conference for the first time. In our meeting and the conference with the presence of the state ministers and ambassadors in Brazil next week, we will show an astonishing new technology. We decide how it will be presented. This technology will be a breakthrough in the world of science if we decide to show it according to the position we take. As I said, every what we call conference will bring a new revelation. This is our job. We'll pressurize the world governments to bend to what we need. Do not forget, presidents get cancer too. Presidents get dementia and Alzheimer's. We've seen, and we've seen presidents with Parkinson. This fits them perfectly. You got to understand one thing. We are in to change, and you will understand more. We are in to change the totality. We are in to change with you the totality. The number of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers expanding dramatically. We will respond to the position which happened in Italy that it forced us to close our factory. You will hear our position in respect to Italy, and it will be done with the Italian government. We have taken and consulted with the Italian central government, and we will take the factory into the position of cleaning up all the waste in Italian nation. What happened in Italy is the decision of the central government to decide how to behave and how to handle it. We are a foreign investor. I'm not Italian citizen. So as a foreign investment by the Keshe Foundation, Italian government has to respond to our investments. That's their responsibility to allow us to invest more in cleaning the waters of Italy. We will release documentation through KF Global directly in what is involved in the Italian situation in Italian waters. And land is with us and the Italian government to sort out. We leave all these matters as it is highly technical and The project will be financed by the tune of 300 million by the Keshe Foundation and will go on the banner of our what we call KF Austria. It's got to be understood that we will take the next step in our presentation in the Kingdom of Morocco. In our presentation in Morocco, we'll show another revolutionary concept and technology. And again, as we did with the last one, we offer it to the world companies to take steps to become partners. From now on, most of our work will keyed up to the governments. That's why we've gone through the structure of the international conferences. This situation will be very dynamic. I'm not really concerned in respect to what is happening around the smaller parts of the what we call bunch of thieves around the foundation. They're so meager that we can be and they'll be handled by their own nationals. It's not our job. We are here to bring together. We are not here to divide. We are here to make mankind to walk away from these stupid behaviors of the past. As I said, it's one of the main commandments out of all the ones which is there is, thou shalt not steal. You cannot steal from the foundation which gave you the bread. I'll take a step to make sure the situation in Ghana will never take place. The situation will never take place. We sit across tables with governments. They have two choices: meager thefts or withdrawal of investments, which is cash on the table. We all know which way governments go. But we still leave rooms for those who done wrong to correct it. It's very, very clear. I will stop anyone who takes any wrong steps about the foundation, thinking they can walk away with theft of intellectual rights and technologies. You got a long way coming. If I stopped the wars of the planet, you're no war, you're ants on the wall. We will release more data and more knowledge and information regarding Ghana through the Ghanaian government press release. This has to be taught, that we make an example of people, that people remember. You've seen in the past how we had in past 300 teaching, Red Circle, Bannard, fired, did everything he could, lied to the court and the rest of it. My response to the state of Belgium is still the same. Our negotiation is one way only, and that is all the damages to the Keshe Foundation, millions of the books downloaded by deliberate act of what we call their agent, has to be repaid back to the foundation, belongs to the foundation. All the damages which is done now, we can quantify it, has to be paid back to the foundation because it's spent on the humanity. We will accept only one sequences and consequences: imprisonment of Red Circle. As we did with Alan Sterling, we will get what we want. The same goes with the police officer in Belgium. Imprisonment, and has to be according to what we want. The same has been agreed with Benjamin's case. You got to understand, till we don't make example by their own conduct for their own deed, then there'll be no different than the past. We don't touch, they don't, and they will do. It's got to be understood that the knowledge has to be free. Respect for the knowledge has to stay free. And in so many ways, understanding the knowledge to be shared has to be free, but respected for what we call sharing of the knowledge that keeps the society in order. In the coming days and the coming weeks, I will release the first technologies that will start changing the course of humanity in a very rapid way. We are not looking at things that you might think possible. We deliver you a small unit, as small as smoke detectors, that you can place it around the house. You don't need to eat, you don't need to warm up. This will be shown as part of the structure at or before Tehran meeting. We will release enormous amount of technologies. We paralyze the money transaction situation for those who live by money, because this has been one of the biggest problems on this planet. Greed for the money to bring power, that the greed of the power dictates who is more. You want us to show you the power? No problem. You choose how many heads of states you want to walk around the world like zombies. I deliver. You take a vote, I deliver a zombie president to you. This is so easy. Then you understand we make decisions. It's very simple to understand. The technology is now a practical way away from the past knowledge, and on its own will take and make its own decision. In a very short time, many of you will see what we call thought control, emotion control systems. The first ones are under test at the moment. In so many ways, we decide everything. Don't need computers anymore. These are part of the teachings which will come in the next 300 teachings. Man has to understand and gradually progress to that point. I deliver in the time to come the total interaction and the first face-to-face delivery of the man officially, publicly with the universal community. It has to be understood this needs a lot of peace. It needs to understand that it's the time to meet. In next 300 teaching, as I said, we open the universal community step by step. Most probably we start with small, what you call creatures that man can get position of, to see, to understand, to be friended, even though their lives more intellectual than man. And then we'll go to the steps of the full interface within next 300 teaching. Then more knowledge will be taught according to man's understanding. I have one message for the world governments. Collaborate and make it easier. Play games, you'll find out there's no games to play. We go back into what we said and we keep to our ethos. Ethos of the Keshe Foundation will not change. The situation which has risen for us has all have a benefit. There is always a good side to everything, not a bad side. But it's for us to show the good side, because the bad side will be delivered by themselves to themselves. As I said before, I've taken a decision to separate totally my private life from the Keshe Foundation work. And that will come more and more apparent, because I need the space and time to live a normal life. I've put enough over 40, 50 years in the knowledge. Now it's very simple. I deliver the knowledge, it's for you to complete it. I open doors, you need to achieve it. What do you achieve is according to the intelligence of totality of mankind, not one or two. We have a good news with us, which has been one of my main concerns for past few weeks. Arman is back with us after a very large operation, and it's nice to have you back, Arman. It's been a big headache for me for weeks, and in past 2 weeks now he's back, he's with us, and thank you for being there. On the other hand, you will see, as we said, with the patients in China and other patients around the world, we will set, as we call, live testimonials as we open different centers around the world, that the doctors and the patients can see the development. This is important, that we all understand how the technology is applied and the progress is understood by all of us. The what we call Keshe Spaceship Arizona, which is in the hand of total control of the Keshe Foundation, 51% shareholding and capital invested by the American side, is one of the most center points of the technology. It will show the advancement. We put a lot of effort into it to make it the jewel in the crown of American operation. We have no problem with this, but at the same time, the American government has to understand we are in as one nation. We are not in as different nations. Investment in US is investment by all the Keshe Foundation as a whole, not belonging or be part of one nation. In the coming meetings in Brazil and in other countries, we make this very clear to the nations. We are not here to play the old game. We are here to play a new game, a fair, a just, and secondly, eliminating all the coins and all the damages which mankind has done to himself. As I said before, in Italy, with the Italian government, we are there to change a massive problem for the Italian nation. Many of you do not know, but with what we have in our position, we can literally bring the economy of the Italy into freeze. This is how powerful and how much we have access to information and knowledge, which we can change. It's very easy. The Italian government has no choice but to collaborate in changing the life of not only Italians, but the rest of the world. We will release the documents through the Keshe Foundation Global, through our press media. And it's for the governments and people to make a decision. And it's important for them, not for us. In so many ways, nations who do not collaborate, we have no problem. We'll make them to collaborate to bring peace. We'll make them to collaborate by knowledge and friendship to understand the game has changed. There is no more wars. We have to find a solution that no citizen is hurt. In part of the teaching today, I will start opening a new dimensions which you all know, but you have to understand it. Knowing is different than understanding. As I always said to my children, when you comprehend, you do not need to remember. This is the key to the teachings from now on. You will be amazed how much all of it you know, and you'll be amazed how much of it you thought you didn't know, but you know. We'll go into the structure of the soul. We'll go into the structure of the physical body of the man, and then we go into the structure of the universal community. How the societies are established in the universe. How the structure of understanding of the laws set up by different, what we call citizens of this universe for collaboration and cooperation, is very much different than what mankind has agreed between nations of this planet. The principle and the work is understanding of the peaceful condition. War does not exist. It's something which is not in the vocabulary of the universal community. And now you understand why we pressurize so much to get rid of it, because we don't want it to enter into the vocabulary. We are aware of its damages. We are aware of its shortcoming. We are aware of what can do to us in the open society. In the coming past few weeks and months, more and more reports of interface or interaction with the universal community has been done. Many of you, you see more things which you have never seen. There is a reason for it. We are trying to familiarize. These are the shake hands. These are hellos. These are there to tell you we are here. But at the same time, you have to understand we are here to the person who can confirm and bring you to us at the same time. My job is not easy, trying to bring a bunch of animal behavior to be normal and trying to convince the normal people that these people have changed. It's what we call give and take. There is a lot of opposition to my work on this planet. There is a lot who want to leave this planet to go back to his mother and forget about it. It's a short time left as compared to the life of the universe. But as we say, every soul worth saving. I hope and I know I will achieve it. But the problem is those men, those men with what we call the black soul, which are in hand-on-hand operation. In going back into what is part of our work and teaching, I thank those corporations who are working in the background to help the foundation in different ways and opening up into the, what we call global work.
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, could we get a microphone adjustment there? It's been getting weak. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. We see the more smaller man we work with, the bigger claims he makes with what he wants from the foundation. They want all of it. When we talk to the corporations, they want to give it all. So we see a lot of cons and pros in how to deal with individual groups or with collaboration and cooperation of big groups. This is part of the game of the man, and we play it as it suits the man. We talk to a guy from the kindergarten, the same language that he understands, and a guy who is a professor. In so many ways, we go back and we start teachings, mixing and bringing a new dimension to the teachings that now you've been through understanding of the soul. As I said before, we open the structure of the soul. We open the structure of the creation in the universe. We open the total understanding of creating conditions. Mankind does not need to travel the span of the universe to understand the work of the universe. What I teach you will give you the understanding that you can bring the condition of the universe here on this planet. I have started working with a number of Iranian scientists to bring this position apart as part of the teaching. My work with the Iranian nation will stay sacrosanct. I am committed to the nation of Iran, and I'm committed to establishment of peace in Iran through the present government of Iran, not by change. This is very clear. We respect every nation according to the election of the people and the government stated, the same as we do with America, the same as we do with any other country. We are here to serve the nation, not the government of the nation. And the same goes with everything else we do. It has to be understood, we are committed to peace, and peace comes out of strength with knowledge and technology. And as we said, the status quo was kept for years because both sides had nuclear war weapon and they were afraid of using it on each other because they knew they both can wipe each other out. We don't work that way. We spread the knowledge so much that nobody even thinks to have a position and I'm stronger. It's just we are equal. My work is very well planned, even though in my book goes everywhere. It's just a matter of putting everything at the same time, teaching the kindergarten as much as teaching the guy in the 10th class and the guy who's professor. But they all come through the same channel, through the same process. In going back to what we started with the video, our present volunteer, as you've seen today, he's down to the last 2 tablets out of what he started. We are around about 89, 87, 89% clear of medicine. And we see a lot of developments. We will release more videos on him in the next couple of weeks. Then we'll show you the other patient, which is with epilepsy. He is by tomorrow or by today down by 35 tablets, more or less, out of 47. So we are left with around about 12 more tablets to come up within the next 2 weeks. So he'll be free of all medication. The beauty of it is that they start living a normal life, and the beauty of it is that mankind will start living a normal life. Knowing and having this technology does not mean man will live forever. His soul will, even his soul will come to the point of transferring his knowledge, transferring his what we call a strength to another souls, to the creation of the others. So for mankind just becoming part of the Keshe Foundation does not give you a jail-free ticket card as in Monopoly that you never die. We all change position, we all change strength, and it's how we greet it, how we accept it, how we celebrate life. The point of celebration counts. In so many ways, man has to learn. He just changes the address of a home. Sometimes the address of the home of the soul has to change. You don't want to live in the same house for 1,000 years. So what you call death is just change of position close to the soul of the man. And the sooner man learns this, the easier it becomes for man to understand. He doesn't need to grab because the end will come. There is no end in reality. Because even at this state of life, man is part of a chain process. It'll never started with him, and it shall never finish with him. In understanding this, we try to teach more. In understanding this, we try to get you to understand the facts about cycle of life, cycle of transfer of fields. That's all human life is. That's all life is in the universe. A process, a cycle of change of different strength. It's a voice coming out of your mouth. It's a thought in your brain which creates that voice. It's that voice which goes down the line, and is that voice which is again energy field itself in transfer and transformation, which is heard by another man, and he changes his life or does something because of your voice, what the energy he received. Then we understand life of the man is just a traveling energy pack. Nothing more, nothing less. There's no need to be proud of what we call the body of the man, because as we have seen, it's just a temporary clothes, temporary what we call shackle, or the soul of the man in the travel of its energies through the dimension of the life of the universe. And sometime sooner or later, mankind will come to understand this. But in fact, what does mean? How does your body structure work? How do you come to exist? What's the difference between the body of the man and a stone? Both are creatures of God. Both are created through the compact and impact of what we call different strength magnetic fields. But how come we can keep some dynamic, and how come we cannot keep some dynamic? How come when we put dimensions of the fluidity of the fields, we can create intelligence? How can mankind come to understand that with this knowledge, as you understand from now on, everybody is in the same boat? In so many ways, in olden days and even now, many of us still go to a tailor and we buy a suit and we buy clothes, or we cut it ourselves and we decide this is how I'm going to look. This was the fitting, the outfit of the physicality of the man. Now with teaching and understanding the soul of the man and operation of the soul in respect to the fields of the universe, the field of the universe becomes the scissors, and the decision of the soul of the man becomes a cloth. You decide in which way this cloth is going to manifest itself. Are you going out with the summer suit, or are you going with a mini skirt? Are you wearing a fur coat, or are you becoming an Englishman? Fur coats and no knickers. So you have to decide how from now on you dress up the soul of the man. Up to now, you have dressed the physicality of the man with different shades and clothes. But now, you can, with the new knowledge, to understand how you dress up this soul according to the position and the presence of. On this planet, you might need many different characteristics. But if you understood much easier than the birds did, as we did with the bird we shown some times ago in the teaching, you can change your body the way you want, even on this planet. It's just you need to decide. We have tribes who already do this. In the technology development, which I even discussed with the Iranian scientists yesterday, those who listen understand that the step of the knowledge, you can decide how you manifest yourself at the position of manifestation in the dimension of the environment of the new systems. As one of the things that we will teach, and these systems, new systems will come in. You go to Walmart, you go to a clothes shop and you buy new clothes and you come out. If you understand the work of the soul of the man with the new universal systems, you can go in and manifest yourself in the dimension, the shape and understanding of the satisfaction of the soul of the man and manifest yourself. Do not forget, this is what mankind will do in the span of universe. Now you understand how we are opening the knowledge to you, how you have to see and understand what is about to come. The release of the universal, what we call system, is not just what you thought. It's more to it. As one of the Chinese guys very recently has sent a message, is a carrot and me sitting on a donkey and the donkey running for the carrot. There is no donkey, there is no carrot, and there is no me. You have to understand, it's you who decides the carrot, what you want to be. So with this new universal unit, is not just to get rid of Parkinson or get you soul elevated. The next steps of the use of these is the system matches to your soul. The system is set to match your wishes. Then you will understand there is no need for the frock to wear. If you do what the universal creatures do in so many ways, that covering the sexual organs, that this is the biggest problem for the man, then you find out you have nothing to hide. There is no need and reason to hide. Only who you decide to see will see what we call the naked body. Wearing of the clothes and hiding it will be over. Very soon, with the systems we will show, you will understand this. In the structure in Arizona, the way we have discussed will be that you can manifest and manufacture not only what you want, any material you want. Part of the structure of the Arizona Keshe Spaceship System is not just for environmental, is to show how to make water, is to show how to make material, is to show how to clothe yourself according to your wishes. This is a very bad news for those Acceleron guys, if you know what I'm talking about. This is needed to be done. That when we take you into space, you don't need to run all the way back to Marks and Spencer and Walmart to buy something to cover 2 holes and 2 bumps. You will understand the love which you show will manifest your position. I want only such a person to see me in the position of my emotion on certain behaviors. This is not a dream anymore. This is the reality which slowly with these systems we create a condition to elevate the soul of the man to learn about this process in his soul. Now you understand what the use of these systems are. Why I introduced the universal system at this point. Any person tries to copy this will make sure they will have a big problem in their hand through their soul. Because this system has to be done the way it's set up by the Keshe Foundation, because we know how we are structuring it. Somebody's microphone is open in the background, Rick.
That's your friend.
Which one? Armin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. He's in hospital. He just knocked the thing off. pull it up, Armanjan. This man has just survived a huge operation and is nice to have it back. It's understanding of the totality which counts, and understanding what these new systems are. Step by step, I'm opening the dimensions. Step by step, we know what we are doing in the structure of the technology. You will see people will change. We will see people walking into these systems, realize that trust has to come from inside the soul of the man and not inside the emotion of the man. Then you will change. You will take new steps in life. You will understand, do I need to kill something else, trying to destroy something else for me to have? I spent 2 years in China for my understanding of the man. As I said to Caroline the first time she asked me, I said, I have come here to understand mankind, that I can work through mankind. Through Chinese, I found a lot about cheating, betrayal, dishonesty, and many, many other things. I could not believe Chinese are that way. But it seems the more closer you get to Beijing, the bigger cheaters appear. But that's the state of Chinese. They have to understand. But it's the same with the Americans, and we've seen what happens with the Belgians. Understanding the totality is important for us, that we can operate within them. Trying to do something you don't understand is very difficult. We understood how this nation works because I lived amongst them. I tried to understand them. And one thing which is appears very nicely, Chinese have a lot of ethos, but the ethos is lost as it gets closer to Beijing. And what is called the money has become the main center point. They cheat, they betray, and their operation is very simple. Steal as much as you can, and then keep a clean face. We are clean, there is nothing wrong with us, it's the rest of the world. In so many ways, I agree with President Trump in the behavior of some nations, but I understand he is a problem for his own nation too. But in so many ways, we have to understand with the totality. There is fault in all of us, in all the nations. But we understand more and more as we open the dimensions. It's the responsibility of the Chinese to change their own structure, using the new technology to bring that change condition, same as the Americans, the same as the Iranians and the rest. We are not all clean. We all have changed according to what we call greed has changed the man. Now we have to understand the totality. We close our eyes to what we call the mistakes of the past, but we open our eyes to understanding the mistakes has to bring us an advantage that we don't make the mistakes again. My work is not connected to no nations. My work is connected to change the soul of the humanity, the collective soul of the mankind and all inhabitants of this planet. It's very simple. You will see in the coming time, with a new understanding of the structure of the soul, of the cell, or what we call dimension of physicality of the man, I will allow you to change the soul of every part of you. Don't forget, you have a soul of physicality, you have the soul of the man, and then the soul of the man and the soul of physicality in reality is a collection of the interaction of the soul of every cell. Is for man to understand his position. We call it, Darwin called it, the evolution. There is no evolution. The only evolution is the revolution of understanding the truth about the operation of the soul of the man and how it responds to its environment and its position. Up to now, you only understood, according to Darwin, or tried to understand the evolution of the physicality. Now mankind has to understand there is an evolution of the soul of the man which he himself is responsible for, nobody else. And then you transfer this evolution to manifestation of the physicality at the point of the decision making by the soul of the man. Soul of the man has emotions. Soul of the man has the same thing as the physicality has. Now you have to understand the emotion of the soul. Then you understand how we work and we change things accordingly. There cannot be any misunderstanding. The development of the new enhancement units is to enhance the soul of the man. We don't really mind you put the physicality inside. It's the education, the process of the education of the soul of the man to bring mankind to understand and start interacting and understanding. He has a decision making between the interaction of the soul of the physicality and the soul of himself. If you understand this, life becomes very easy for mankind. This is part of the work which in the coming time we'll do. Up to now, you start understanding, you bisected the body of the man, as did Da Vinci, to find out where is the heart and what it does. And more scientists try to find out how many God knows cells are in one part of the body and the rest. Now, with a new understanding, we open the structure of the soul of the man. Because if you understand where the soul in respect to physical manifestation in being able to observe or understand the feeling of the material needs arm, or needs to understand, who would like to have something, can pick something up. So you decide how long the arm is going to be, you decide how short the leg is going to be, or you decide, do I need the leg in this planet or not? But you have to understand, in any shape or form, through my soul, I can travel all dimensions of the creation. The delivery of the universal system, as I said, is piece by piece is getting unraveled. By the time we reach the delivery and showing of the systems in Tehran and in Arizona, it'll be very simple. Mankind will be taught enough in the next 3 months to understand, when I go in the system, it's not the system which works, it's me who asks the system what to elevate me to. Then the physicality will follow. Then mankind will start getting educated. When you enter these systems, you'll be as naked as your soul. Many people will walk out of these systems with a lot of changes. Many of you, you'll find the true yourself in what you wanted to be. There is a very interesting point. Those who try to replicate the systems, you will know very soon. You go in and become in nothing, you go in this one, you can change to what you like. So you know who the crook is sitting in Italy. And in so many ways, we'll see how it works. If Chinese can cheat and replicate, because it's very simple. They think they know, but you know, we haven't given the golden key, is hidden within it. One day you'll ask me where is the key and how you know, I will explain to you. The process of understanding the technology is very simple. It's the knowledge of the universe. And if you want to work with the knowledge of universe, you have to let the dimension of physicality of manifestation to not to disappear, but to understand is a way of manifestation, confirmation of my existence. I challenge any world leader, as you've seen, Belgians have tried. It doesn't work. I challenge any world leader who's set up to create peace to see how far he will go and how far he will achieve it as he has our blessing. The point of world leaders from now on will be challenged how they appeal and try to say their cause of peace. We've seen the first cheatings of it in the past couple of weeks. The Russian president or the Turkish president achieved peace, and in stopping everything while the Americans pulled out of the north of Syria to create a new war, and there was nothing. And there's a statement on the day of passing of the what we call our friend Sandor, and then 2 days later Americans come and claim our team has been there, we achieved it, it's such a glorious thing. We know where the truth sits. False alarm, false claim, but the truth is nations who go for developing peace, leaders who go for developing condition of peace will be supported by us. Those world leaders who look for real, what we call the prizes of life, are those who commit themselves to the peace. And this is our wish, and you will see it will become more and more. The understanding of the new technology is that you will understand that it's your soul who changes the position of the soul of the others if the sincerity of the wish of the change and giving by your soul is in truth is the essence of your own peace. When you are at peace with yourself, you can do so with the others, that they can take more, that they reach your point. Plasmas of the higher strength always give to the lower. And there is nothing more than peace, stronger than peace, which means living amongst others with the equal shares and equality than anything else in the universe. Then you understand how we decide and how we change. In reality, when you enter these systems, what you will see that every cell of the man will shine, because each one is a star. Each one carries its own dynamic plasma. Then you will see how you want to reorganize these stars according to pleasing the soul of the man and not the physicality of the outside when you walk out. In this process, many of you will come to understand one thing. What was all this fighting for? What was all this suffering for? Why have mankind has created so much mayhem? And what is our responsibility from now on? What do we understand? Are we committed to peace on this planet, or are we committed to peace in the universe? And if you target for the latter, you'll find out the first one is no problem. Those of you who are members of the Universal Council have to elevate your understanding of the soul and the work of your soul to the next level high. You have to start establishing, understanding the soul of the work of the soul of universe. not the mankind. You already carry that. The whole structure is stepped up. In so many ways, you have to understand nothing, nothing will stop us from what we have committed ourselves to. We show you so much knowledge, so much technology. We show you so much understanding of the universal work that it overwhelms you. You realize how feeble the mankind is. You remember some times ago, not very distant past, we used to go in chaos and make telephone calls. We used to go to telephone centers to send a telegram. Now, with the delivery of these universal systems, we give mankind those what are called telephone booths back. Not the red ones, the English ones, but every one of every nation. These systems are set up to be the line of communication with the universal community in the first step, till the man matures that he understands how fast he wants to take this revolution forward. As I said before, G9 is the communication line with the universal community. Mankind decides where he moves to different position in the elevation of G5, G6, G7, G8. Because you all like something to do with something that you can have a highest number to get there. 9 is your highest number, or you go back to nothingness. You got to understand how to utilize the new systems which we release. We will go into production of releasing tens of thousands a month across this planet from different places, because it will be needed by every nation. It will be needed by every man to create the first conditions. The understanding of the elevation of the soul of the man is very much is to satisfy the hunger of physicality of the man. You have not satisfied the hunger of the soul, and you never understood the hunger of the soul of the man, that then it can manifest itself and show itself. As you know, I said many times, when Diana died and when John Paul, the Pope, died, I said very easily, even though with all the wrongdoings of Diana, she had a higher elevation point than the soul of John Paul. John Paul came in with 1 and left with minus billions. Because he knew, and he was part of the abuse system of children. And when you damage a soul from the inside, you have to stand for the responsibility of it. My message is very clear to the world religious leaders. Close shop. And let the soul of the man free. It's very simple. You are responsible for suffering of the souls, and enough is enough. Or I close it for you. As I ended that war, closing these little buildings is nothing. When you go into these systems, you go with a wish. Understand what this wish implies, not only for your soul, but the soul of the others. When you enter these systems, which you will do in the coming weeks and months, understand you walk in naked. Does not matter what fur coats and how many Gucci watches and God knows you have on you. You're naked in front of your own soul. And the beauty of it is, Very soon, as we all reach the point of elevation of understanding of our souls, we all see the rainbow colors of our body, of emission of the fields of the soul of the man, and we say, oh my God, this is red. He's up to some nasty things in that part, or he's wishing something else and doing something else somewhere else. And we all try to stay as white as possible. Then you understand. The smallest stars will shine like a red light. I love to see how many of you would do, cheat your own soul in the dimension of the physicality and its emotion. None of you can. As I said, if you remember some times ago, many people will not walk into the what you call the spaceships because their soul won't allow. You were waiting for the UFO. Sorry, it's called universal system. Made individually, customized according to your wish. Many of you who have fears, when you walk into these systems and walk out, you will not even remember what fear was, because by elevation of the soul of the man, there is no fear in the dimension of the physicality. You will understand more that when you enter the universal systems, there is one point and one point only: peace, tranquility, and equality. Every man walking on out of these systems walks out the same as the last man who walked in, walked out. We don't abolish the seat of kingship. The kings will abolish their own seat. Many of the world leaders will cry to the rest of their population, asking for forgiveness in what they've done. This is why we said we will not put any in Belgium, because you do not want to know, none of them will go in. None of the leaders of that nation walks in any shape or form in any of these systems, because the list is so long that it might ring and rises another uprising in balancing the books. As we seen last week, another 32 bodies was found in England. And where did it come from? Again, dark nation of Belgium. Slavery, human trafficking, child abuse is part of the life of this nation. So you understand how much work needs to be done. And I wonder if the leaders ever walk into any of these machines, or they try to confiscate everyone that they do not have to show. Let me explain something very simple. As I explained many times before, as the structure of the brain of the man has layers and layers, very much like an onion, so is the soul of the man. It's you in how you enter and how you understand the totality, that you don't peel the onion, but you live in the fields of the totality of it. Those souls who mature enough will find their way to the inner sanctum. Those who are arrogant stay in the dimension of physicality. The station of physicality is the station of ignorance and weakness. If the mankind understands this, why does mankind see suffering as a point of maturity I will never understand. Why doesn't mankind see elevation of the soul as a point of positiveness to live a comfortable life, not through the suffering? But as you know, I came here to understand that, and I had the best example of it in past 4 years in Africa and in China, and before in the land of the white man. You got to realize with the new space technology, which we release more and more of, you will understand more about yourself. These technologies are not brought in to give you more comfort in the physical dimension. Is brought out for you to find the shortcuts, the proper ways that you can bypass million years of ignorance on this planet. In a way, as one of our knowledge seekers yesterday, one of the top scientists in Iran, says, Mr. Kesh, can you show us the shortcut? We've been trying to understand it, but can you show us how to get there faster? And I said, what happened? You have what we call failed, half failed the exam. Now you're trying to find a shortcut to pass the exam. You have to go and find out yourself, but I guide you how to do it. It's in a way, understand what you have not understood. Mankind has to understand the operation of his soul from now on, not operation of his physicality. I'm in love with peace because peace is part of what I was created out of. But amazing enough, I see the anger inside due to the behavior of man. Now I understand why I've got this ticking clock, that how mankind has evolved over centuries to this point. You have to understand part of the totality of the life of a man from now on is not his physical life anymore. The responsibility of the mankind is to understand the structure of the soul, how it operates, how it has to behave, how it lives amongst the others in the universe, and is not any more important what frog and what shape your body takes, is how you manifest the soul of the man at the point of manifestation is important. And you have to understand, go back to my teachings very earlier on. When you stand in front of the universal community, you are naked. Not in the dimension of clothes, but in the dimension of the feeling of the soul of the man. This is the beauty with the new knowledge. As I said many times, you are naked in front of me, but I'll let you do all the cheating you like. Me not talking is out of my grace, is not out of my ignorance and stupidity. But always remember, I never forgive and I never forget. Because if I do, then you're encouraged to do more. But with me is I change your soul. I don't touch your physicality. Soon mankind will understand. Very soon. I have brought the machines to do it because we could not any other way with the man itself. Many of you will run to these systems to understand the elevation of your soul. And many of you run away from it because the truth is too harsh to understand and face. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. As usual, I'll remind the attendees they can put their virtual hands up and we can allow you to speak.
Can we have their soul hand up and see which one you know? Or you have not elevated that high yet?
Well, some of them we seem to feel their presence in the background, whether they put their hand up or not. And definitely, we've had lots of coincidences of people saying other people's thoughts in the moment. We've got a couple of questions from Maria in the Q&A. It's you can probably read them there, Mr. Keshe, or do you want to deal with
them,
those?
please? Would you like to read it?
Okay, I'll
I
give
don't
it
know any English. I just speak.
Okay, I'll give it a try here. She says, why are the reptilians living so much longer than the quote quote stupid in their own eyes mankind when they start wars again and again? So the good mankind is not starting the wars, but the earth is starting to be like hell since the reptilians left their own planet and came here to destroy the paradise earth. So why they are the 25% and they're looking like human beings on this earth, and but they can change like they are shapeshifters. Are they allowed to do all this since such a long time? Is that right? They change their ways on the home planet and want to be on the light side in love and peace. Can they go back to their planet? She has all these questions.
Very interesting dreams. We have developed a position of fear for encountering people who are more intelligent than us. And the more intelligent you become, the more peaceful you become. So whatever you call shapeshifters, the light people, we've seen them around the foundation. We've seen the reptilians, they call him. As you know, in the Rome conference, I asked, there is one of them amongst us, and this girl was stood up, it. I said, the one who is already announced who it is and is sitting down, you're the wrong one. You got to realize it cannot be the present, what we call the state of one only. As Giscard d'Estaing said, European community is a Christian club only. And now we see how Christian club is eating each other's up and tearing each other apart. We come to understand that as we have mixed in our societies, as we came from the same source, mankind will come to understand the amalgamation of the fields of the creation of the soul of the man comes from the same source. It's the openness of the understanding of the truth which makes separation between the man and what we call the beast. Many years ago, an Indian guy in London working as an accountant for a very big firm, automotive industry. And the management of the company decided to sell a subdivision. This Indian accountant was in this company for nearly 25 years. And there was a manager, English manager, blue eyes, blondish, and he was the boss. The Indian man, being a bit business minded and accountant, goes to him and he says, let's buy the company, we know it's profitable. He says, I'm not interested, I'm going to retire very soon, I have a good retirement, I've got a couple of years to go. The Indian man buys the company, and that day comes to the office and he says to the boss, his friend, eating, traveling, holidaying, traveling for years, that I bought the company, now we can run it. He got up, he put hands on the table, he said, I never work for an Indian. You're not my boss, I'm resigning. Never spoke a word till both died. The knowledge of the man is his stupidity of color, of race. We see them fighting to get rid of the blacks, but we don't see the blacks fighting to get rid of the whites in Africa. Even though for all the wrong things they've done to them. So what we see is mankind has to sort out this animosity, racism, this I'm better than the others. First, clean his own house. Then you'll find out all the work of the universe. There is no difference as this planet. As I said, mankind, when it does mistakes and damages everything, blames the others. And all the damage on this planet is done by mankind. As one of the knowledge seekers once told me, this planet is a very hot real estate, that's why they come here. Darlings, this earth is so cold, this planet, that nobody wants to have a real estate. We just here temporarily to see that how we see the mankind to damage himself without us. You don't need much help. Human race is so bent backward to destroy itself, you don't need no one from outside to help you. And this is the pattern of the life, that when you cannot blame yourself for your own stupidity, you blame the others. As we have travelers from Italy to America to Africa, and Africans to the rest of the world, and the Chinese going everywhere, so is the universe. There is no closed door for no one. You've seen it. Refugees walk from China or from Tibet, months and months, walking the whole planet into Europe, and they arrive and they say, we want refugee. How did you get here? I walked for 6 months. In the universal community, we do the same. We travel the spans of the universe and we live amongst. Soon, man will be one of them. Are you a reptilian when you go to the Mars or Saturn or another place when you change your dimension? Or would you interfere? Or when you arrive, you see intelligence-wise, you're so low that you don't want to introduce yourself that I'm so stupid. Or you're so high that you say, if I do, I can change a lot of things. So mankind will do what the passengers of the universe have done on this planet for millions of years. We do not interfere. Mankind has no right to interfere when he goes out. The time of colonization is long died with the British Empire. When you understand this, you have respect, and you don't listen to a bunch of rubbish people who have no idea what they're talking about. Is there something good chit chat? You lot don't need much. You're destroying yourself, yourselves. We just watch. You created all the war machines. You created the way to kill each other. You created poisons. You created everything. Who do you blame? The ones who put this question out, it shows how much they do not know about the facts of mankind. In so many ways, don't blame no one for your own shortcomings. And you have a lot of it. You have huge amount of it. And you have accumulated it through the soul and what you call RNA and the DNA of your forefathers. And you keep on adding it to your soul. Those who talk about these things, there's one thing, they are blaming their own mistakes on the others. And you will understand soon, thanks to those who've been watching this planet, those who call whatever, we are here now to change it for you. As you say, we received enough reports of the stupidity of the man. Now we have come to interfere. Enough is enough. And thank those, whatever name you put on them, that they will see as you go to the dimension of the soul, you will see them and you will know who they are. That thanks them for not interfering and for the man to reach to the point of maturity of his own stupidity. How come you have tourists on this planet, but you don't want to accept the tourist of the universe? Are we walking into another trap? But don't forget, the tourists of the universe are very clever and they can see. You worked in the tourism of mankind with the physicality of the man and the dimension of a building. In the tourism of the universe, we work through the soul of the man. So next time when you raise such a question, understand how misguided you are in putting the question this way. And in so many ways, it would have been worse if we were not here. Clean up your house. Don't blame others for it. I want to teach you something to understand. Accident happens. Doesn't matter where about in the universe. There is a law that if you are involved in an accident or something happens accidentally, as you call it, you have to restore the physicality to the dimension of his soul, that you not cause the separation. So if you understand this, you will understand no man of the universe has ever committed murder on this planet, as he has the capability to reunion or unify the both souls. So those who talk this kind of nonsense, you better close book, close shop, understand your soul, and blame humanity for its shortcoming. Your lack of knowledge is a noose around your neck, not the universal community. Any other question? Or are we becoming like Mr. Trump? We built the walls that nobody crosses, but now we have spaceship and we go over it and we laugh. The way they used to bring castles that nobody could get through, then we built the rockets and we played the planes and we flew in and we bombed it to smithereens. For the men of the universal community, there is no borders, there is no boundary, and they don't need to destroy anything, as they have what they need and they can produce what they need. Earth is a shame state, not a real estate, if you understand it.
Mr. Keshe, Chris has a question in the YouTube here that relates. He says, my question relates to the fact that the soul is in a state of wisdom and peace Why does this not reflect in the physical?
Because you have a dimension of the interaction of the field forces of the soul of this planet. This is wrong with it. These two combination creates mayhem of the problems. You react to the soul of this planet, to physicality of this planet. I was listening to one of the teachings with Jalal yesterday, the day before, and he says if apple become gold and chicken lays a golden egg, the soul of the physicality of this planet has interacted to its dimension of attraction to create this mayhem. If we raise the level of the soul of this planet, that in that interaction with the soul of the man, the greed, the killing, and everything else goes, that it can tap into the universal energy, then none of this will exist. The problem is with the soul of this planet. What sits inside it and how it interacts. The soul of the planet is like the star, and in interaction with the soul of the man, like what you see, you create rain, you create hell. And this is the hell which this interaction with the soul of this planet, with the soul of the man creates. We never have this anywhere in the universe. Does not matter what we change with the soul of the man. Our work at the moment is to raise the soul of this planet. You don't understand, it's beyond man's comprehension. But it's like an electron and a proton. The two somehow have interacted that we cannot release one with the other. But we can gradually, as is happening now, changing that position. You will understand very soon. We don't see the greed, the killing just in mankind that they say reptilians came and did all these things. What about the fishes? Why do the lions kill? Did the reptilians become lions or they become whales and the fishes? Is the interaction of the soul of this planet which creates this mayhem. We have two choices. Let it go right in or push it in right in. It's very simple. This is, doesn't matter what I put here, I get the same thing. You do not understand what problem exists in universal community with those souls who reside here for a long time. This is what is wrong, and if you listen to the teaching, I've referred to this many, many times. It's the same as you have the interaction of the soul of one of these big stars in the solar system, that in interaction with the same field of the sun creates mayhem of heat, temperature, or thunder, and always danger. The problem is not only sits in the soul of this planet, the soul of this solar system has a bigger problem. When mankind become educated slightly more, we'll understand the way the tilting of this planet has caused the creation of life. The solar system of mankind has a tilt in it, and that's part of the problem too. This is one of the biggest problems. The mother is sick, so genetically is inherited by the soul which creates in the soul of the man. And the interaction of more creates more mayhem. This is why we tell you, create a just and correct soul, that in time of the departure, in becoming a star in the universe, you do not cause the mayhem which is here at sea. As I said, I opened the eye of the man to many facts, but be ready to be honest to accept it. but be honest to understand. In reality, there is not much you can do with it unless those souls who want to elevate to understand this, and in a way you come from a violent home. Drugs, addictions, alcoholism, and everything else. And you want nothing to do with this home because it's nothing but pain. You walk away, you set up a new home, and you live by your own ethos of peace, and you never talk about it. This is the opportunity at this moment we're giving to some of the men who can, who want to leave this mayhem of violence on this planet behind. You do not understand what we put on the table because you're still looking on the bank accounts and looking how to have the food the next day. The best choice we have is what we have offered you as the universal units. At least we give you a new dimension, a womb, a new start for those who elevate to find a way out of this mayhem of the drug addiction, murder killing society of man and this planet. Now that we have opened these systems, you will understand more why and the reason. This is one of the ways we see to free man from the shackles of the murder and killing, that we can take him out in the space as a part of universal community. I cannot put all the fishes in it. I cannot change the structure of the soul of this planet. But I can help it to go in faster. Believe you me, if we get rid of this planet back into its center, no one in the universe will shed a tear. Maybe it'll be rejoiced that all this animal behavior is over. The behavior and the life of man on this planet is one of the biggest shame for universal community. And we had to find a solution. And now we see this as a best solution, that the soul changes and your one understands the soul. Now you understand why I say I'm ashamed to be in the clothes of the man. But I have to be here to bring the change and do. And I've seen more shame, so I've taken a new position in life. Any other question?
Maria continues with asking, is the soul of the planet asking for a change into the higher soul existing and let their old body go?
The soul of, you have to understand what the soul of planet is the collection of the fields of the totality of the, what we call souls of entities on this planet, being a stone, being a fish, being a being. The collective soul of the cells of the man creates the soul of the man, and it cannot be any different with a planet.
Mr. Keshe, would that be what we call Mother Nature or Mother Earth? Is that, or is that a different
The problem
designation?
is, yeah, maybe you can call it that way. Mother Earth has a wrong combination of the womb structure, as I put it that way. You know, the story of the mothers who give birth to the children and then they try to kill their children. This is the problem with this Mother Earth. It gives nourishment and life to the soul of his own creatures and his own creation, and then it let them suffer and then they kill for it. This is one of the biggest problems. As I said before, these new structures and knowledge which we release in the coming months will make a lot of you make a decision on their lives. I have not come through the front door. I have come through the back door, through the soul of the man. I have taken a position of life or physicality which keeps me at peace. And I can walk away from all the mistakes of the past. You will soon understand. This physical life of the man has been nothing but essence of the problem for himself and with it for the others. But he can walk away from it. His choice now is yours. You can choose. You can choose to elevate your soul that the condition of the physicality changes. But you have to clean up the past, because that will still be the chain holding you to the dimension of physicality. And you cannot ignore that chain. It has a length and it has a strength. I was born a free man. I'll die a free man. Free in the dimension of the soul, not the physicality. This is what you have to understand. I open more and more knowledge in the next, as I said. But those of you who enter these, what we call a space of the system, gradually people understand the changes. Gradually people see the reality of their own life. Gradually people understand the interaction of the soul of the man with it. And then mankind has a choice. When you understood the level of your strength of operation of your soul, and you understand the position of plasmatic fields, do you like it? Do you need or do you want a spaceship? Now you understand. You remember the magnets Rick used to play some times ago on the screen? When you move one, the other one moves, and if you change the strength of one, the other one attracts to. Now, understanding of the strength, the truth about your soul, gives you that option. It's you who decides which layer of the onion you use, to what distance you create, and which clothes you want to show. Oh, teaching from now on is going to become so simple, because this is the teaching of the universe, and this is where I come from. Any other question?
We did have a couple of questions from Bente.
Yes. Rick?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, on the
John?
Spanish side, I've been asked to question what is why is the Earth's problem? Where does it come from? Is it because of the inclination of its axle?
It's because of his soul, the way it was created. It's, you know, when you have a limping man, why did he become limp? Was he born limp, or did he break his leg and became limp? This planet was born limp because the wrong soul took in position. This is why we tell you to understand operation of your soul. John?
Yes.
I hear we see you in Brazil next week.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you very
meet
much.
there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Keshe, good morning. It's
Yes.
Caroline.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes. I think the whole universe can hear you by now.
Loud and clear.
Good morning. Yes, I was just about to ask the same question as John passed through from one of the Spanish knowledge seekers. If the soul of the planet, let's say, as you said, came into through a cripple positioning or creation, how can we, because you promised that we would elevate the planet so that humanity would no longer need to suffer from this position of the planet. As we are belonging to the planet, how can we support the planet and that way then to support us to become more balanced? And okay, thank you very much for all the knowledge you have been giving to us and sharing, and these systems and the new knowledge that will be released, and especially the soul teaching about the universe will be so gorgeous. But where can we help and support you in this task, please?
You don't support me, you support mankind. We are here just to make you aware of the problem. The I have to rephrase this that you understand correctly. In understanding of the work of the plasma, we always said that the stronger give to the weaker, that the weaker become balanced, not more than, but in balance with the stronger. So it's elevated. Now you understand my work. The collective soul of the mankind and creation on this planet, if collectively reaches the point of maturity of peace and understanding of collectiveness of one, then it becomes strong enough plasma condition that it can feed the soul of the planet to change the planet to the level of the peacefulness of the man. Now you understand my work. The faster the human race collectively, that's what I kept on telling you, you have not reached that critical mass. So you have to put more out of your own pocket. When you need 10 people to move a car and it's 5 of you, you need to put more energy to pull that car than it was for 10 of you. Now it's the same position. Maybe for the first time you understand. The work, my work as a messenger of the creator, as a creator, is very simple. To raise the soul of the man strength collectively, that instead of having 28 billion with 8 billion you can do, is to make mankind aware of the higher strength of his soul, that collectively when you become one, you become stronger than the soul of the planet, that through the understanding of the transfer of the plasma, you change the soul of the planet. There's no other way to do it. And then peace shall come. So mankind has to become peaceful in understanding amongst itself. Then through understanding of the truth, understanding of the work of the soul of mankind as one, in collectively becoming stronger by using a higher level of understanding, especially with this universal system we have put out, that you become a stronger soul as one nation, one planet. Why do you think this is for? One soul. Then you understand. The soul of one man working as one, being stronger than the soul of the earth, will change it, will feed it, and the whole thing moves to the right position. Souls from outside cannot do this because you are created from it. It's you who has to put it in to change it. The combination of the field of this planet has led to the creation of you. Is a proton and electron. Now you understand.
So, Mr. Keshe, if can you hear me, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, Mrs. Keshe.
So, because one of the questions came up into the teaching that people were most probably misunderstanding, and I tried to explain it. I hope it's correct. Was that one man, one soul can change or bring peace on this planet? And I said, most probably you have misunderstood and thought it was just one single man that could do it. But I explained that it was the totality of humanity as one soul.
One single man can do. If one single man has the strength of the 7 billion, he can do
correctly.
But the thing is, to the greed of the man, which man is there to sacrifice? But would it change the totality of the soul? Because, as I said, we need to change the whole of mankind, not just one piece at a time. The biggest problem for mankind to move into the position of understanding of one soul is the leaders of this planet, the kings, the emperors, those who call themselves the world leaders. Till those are not removed, mankind will not find peace, because he always has somebody bigger or more important, somebody who's higher. Mankind has to learn, like the rest of universal community, equality, balance, no kingship, no higher than anyone else. How many, as I explained to one of the knowledge seekers very recently, how much property has been offered to the foundation? Millions. How much titles we've been put to change? Uncountable. All has been refused. I live amongst men like men. If I claim not to be any more kingship, how can I make a king out of myself? I live what I preach. Wealth of this planet not worth collecting. It's nothing. All these structures we put in, global, Keshe Foundations, is to be able to finance, to put the structures that we can elevate the soul of the man. There's no other way to do it, because otherwise I become that one soul to pull all, and you break because you haven't done it. Mankind has to reach this point. Kings have to put their crowns on the table. It says we are ordinary people, we are not any different. We're getting to that point. Give me a few more weeks. One of our advisors last night was telling me, what's the use? Why have we gone into global into operation? I said, you don't understand. Fox News and the Belgian government and the rest of the governments has put a boycott on Keshe Foundation. No one can report. No problem. Arman has been killing me for 2 years. We have to go. We bought the company. Let's go to the market. Let's do the books. I said, no. When I came back from China, I said, Arman, do. But everybody is expecting the shares to go to 20, 30. No, I wanted the shares to go to 1 cent. My plan for global is 1 cent share, 2 cent share. Do you know why? Because these millions of shares in the market is bought by international pension companies and many others. They bought at 20 cents. They see the technology worth billions. Why is it at such a low level? Why there's a problem with OTC? And who put this shit about Keshe Foundation on the internet? Now I don't need to fight. Big law firms in America, big institutions who have bought the shares are fighting. The share, the money we have is not 2 cents, it's $2, $10. I don't need to fight. Let them fight with each other. You will see what's going to happen to the Keshe Foundation. It's the greed of the man which gives me the position I need. I don't need to fight the criminal cases in Belgium. They put a fraud case in, they're going to take it and put it where they know fits. The international organizations are overrunning what they call those criminals in Belgium. Not me anymore. Nobody understood why at this point I agreed for Margaret to go into operation. Because people are greedy and they want their money. They bought the share because it's cheap, they're going to make much, but it's not going much because of something which is a lie and a cheat, and it put in by a man who's murdered many people and abused many children, called Red Circle. I told you, his daughter doesn't take his grandchildren with him because he already abused the daughters. You know, I'm understanding. You got Red Circles and his grandchildren and his children. They're all in the same boat. And then you understand, these people who invested, they bought shares to show big, and they expect the shares to be at $10. They bought cheap. Now they are fighting with the Americans and the rest. This should be the right price. That's what I wanted. I achieved what I wanted, but people like Armin and the others couldn't see it. I'm very clever. I know what I'm doing and I know how I can play the game. Now the institutions and the rest see Keshe Foundation delivering systems for 150,000, a million, and global is suffering with nothing. They could ask questions, how come? Who do you think they're going to go for? Keshe Foundation becoming a big organization through Austrian and the other corporations, and global arm suffering. Their shares not going up. What is wrong? I use the greed of the man to destroy the man and the kingship. Now you understand. Now you will understand how I play the game the right time. Don't forget, as I always say, I was born in the beautiful physical land of Iran, and we are one of the best chess players. See who's going to be checkmated. I put the news, the machine for millions, and the American government comes to me and says, show us, you said millions, show us. We provided the invoices and the bank accounts. But why is it this? For the problem which sits king. The palaces of the kings of Europe will be set on fire by their own kings, not by the nation. I have no intention to sell shares, but I had every intention to end the kingship. I was given the tool and I played it. Mankind has to realize it's all equal in the level of the soul of the man. Mankind has to understand, has to be correct with his own conduct. When I sleep at night, I have no worries. Doesn't matter what people say, because I don't go out to do harm. I go out not to harm my physicality and my soul. And that's my job. Thou shalt not steal. I don't allow no one stealing from my soul or physicality. And those who think they've done, they can sleep in their dreamland. Because when I move, you have to find your position. It's very simple, the sooner you understand. Let me finish with a couple of governments, and then you understand how I work. This, the Keshe Foundation Arizona is paid by knowledge seekers, 10 units. We are there to make sure it happens the right way. Because the soul and the soul of the man is correct. The Keshe Foundation in Italy, set up from the beginning, was set with the wrong man, but I had to watch it. It's the structure of the soul of Italy. And we saw what happened. You think I'm going to forget? I teach all those who went to the wrong bed, mark my word. But I need a few more days, not weeks. You got to understand what I see, not what I do. With what happened in Italy, many of Keshe Foundation suffered. Many of you as people who bought from the foundation suffered. Who do you think is going to pay for this suffering? The soul of those who stole. You watch. All this has to be answered. Doesn't matter what frog you wear. All those who aligned with whatever to you. You remember what I said in the teaching very long time ago. The man who shoots the bullet pays with his soul as much as the man who designed, manufactured, sold, and handled the bullet. Those who betray the foundation will pay through it. And they thought they are correct. With their lives, with their wives, with their children. You watch. Write the history of the distributors of the Keshe Foundation. The same as they wrote about the life of Bob and those who executed him. There is no difference. There was a bullet, this was the trust. We gave the trust of the foundation, the heartbeat of the foundation, to those who we trusted. They betrayed. And those who went to bed with them. You watch, write about the history of the distributors of the foundation. You will learn, see how their wives and their lives will go to the wall. Cancer, it happens. Why it happened? Because many of those as foundation supporters suffered with it, truly suffered with it. You think it's going to be fun? You watch. But I'm ruthless when I dish out from the soul of the man. I give so much that the soul cannot handle. Generosity is your problem in what I call destruction of yourself. I know exactly precisely what is happening everywhere. But as I say, you know, you've been to the, what do you call, the circus? And then you have a clown which jumps everywhere and does everything. But if you look, he knows about the trade of the lion tamer and the guy who goes on the rope and everything else. He's more knowledgeable than everybody else because he has the knowledge of everything. Of that clown, but in the soul of the creator, in the physicality of the man. You watch. Thou shalt not steal. Those of you who are distributors and lined up, you should have said no. Foundation stands. You took a decision. You will balance your books, not me. Just watch your children, your family, and how you disintegrate. You will try to disintegrate the foundation backbone, the lifeline, and you thought you're very clever, and you fell for the talk of a fool. You made the decision. You made the bed. You will sleep in it. You got to realize, I play with billions, they play with pennies. I hope I made a lot of things clear for a lot of you today. This is how it's going to be from now on. Making a company, taking all the customers of the foundation to that company and showing the company doesn't make money, and then putting it, trying to put it in the bankruptcy and everything else to show we are wrong. Long way coming. Those who went to bed with them will pay with their own soul, because your behavior hurted a lot of Keshe Foundation supporters, a lot of souls who had trust in us. You're afraid I go to the government? You'd be afraid what I do to your souls. Your soul does to itself, because I do nothing but nourish it. Then it brings you to you. It's the same as the soul of this planet. If any of you buys from any of the distributors who associate themselves with this group, you're another criminal. You become the man who shot. If you go and look in how many people suffered because of this. Keshe Foundation in Italy and Ghana was put to become the backbone of creation and starting of the peace. It was financed by us as knowledge seekers, as people who work for peace, and they thought they stole it. Before, thieves paid by prison. This time, thieves pay by their soul, and it's much worse than prison. This time, we don't need government, we're already governed. Any of you buy anything from the distributors connected to Italy, you are another bullet man. You have become part of the criminality. We don't touch them, but people have to understand. I'll open a lot of books for you. Do you know what is the funny thing? They brought the company by taking everything to another company that Keshe Foundation doesn't sell. They took all the customers, all the distributors to them themselves, and then they went and claimed that nobody can pay us our wages. This is a fraud criminal offense by any nation. Bringing a company with assets to bankruptcy and taking it while it was operating is a criminal offense. I don't need to do anything. But I don't go that way. I go through the soul of the man. Watch the space and see what happens to the distributors who betrayed the foundation. You sell 100,000 a month, we sell 1 unit, $1 million. We are richer. The foundation is stronger. But you distributors who betrayed us, look at your children, your wife, and your family. You created mayhem for the foundation people. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Stay there and you see. Even for loot, you got looted. I explain these things very clearly from now on that you all understand. I don't need nothing from this planet. I can close shop tomorrow. But I am, and I'm in love with the soul of this planet, and the soul which this soul has created. And that worth living for. At least till you change, man. You have to understand, we need, the same as the kings, for people to understand what they do. And then we understand the correct conduct. Then we have a peaceful soul. Then we understand the totality. As I told you, we enter a new structure through the universal understanding. So we have to clean up all this mess by the man himself. That we create a strong soul enough of the man that is stronger than the soul of this planet, that he can change it, that he can change the rest. The lions, the kings, the fish, and the wolves, and the rest. I have no desire, whatever happens to the foundation in the matter world. My work is in the soul of the foundation, in changing the foundation the correct way. Because it's the foundation of humanity, not the Keshe Foundation. My job is to change the essence of it. That it goes in the right foundation, that it changes the soul of this planet, that in the universe we can bring you in as a family. But as a magician, I have to play many games to keep you interested, that you understand, and gradually, one by one, the souls elevate. As I said, we can give you thousands of pages, many, many things. If you don't understand it, is, as I say, book on the back of a donkey, cannot read it, does not understand it, just carries it. We have a beautiful saying for us. We say, Kitab wa sabar olah kardim. We put the book on the saddle of the donkey, he just carries it, doesn't know what's in it, does it? Man should not be a donkey, man should be the book. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We had a couple of other questions in the Q&A. One from Boris. What is the position of our magravs that we have built?
What do you mean by position? The magrav is the key to man's freedom in elevating his soul. What you call Alex bead is the operation of the soul of the man in understanding of the totality. In your life, you come across very few pure souls, and Alex is one of them. And in so many ways, through his purity of his soul, he has understood the work of the universe. But through the lack of a knowledge of the physical physics, he releases his knowledge and his understanding in a different way. If you understand the work of the Maghreb system in true essence, this was the dream of Tesla. Tesla always had this dilemma that he did not understand the essence of the creation. But he wanted to change and create that condition of creation. In so many ways, Da Vinci ran into the same problem. So he could see, but he went for the physicality because he could not satisfy the knowledge of the soul. And he started carving and opening, trying to find. He didn't open the body of the man so much to find the structure of physicality. He looked for the soul of the man. He couldn't understand where the soul is. In this process, man made a lot of mistakes. But if you understand The true essence of the Magra system is the true essence of the creation in any dimension, be it the physical structure of the man, be it the physical structure of this planet, be it the work of the universe. But because you do not understand, we get all the mayhem with it. And you know me, I'm the worst teacher, but I'm the best in what I call a tester. I don't like to teach to be copycatted, because then there is no elevation of the soul, understanding of the truth. Many people I see, oh, we found the secret, this. You're looking into the physical dimension of the Magra. Understand the essence of its structure. Understand its power. That's where the problem comes. Give me 2 seconds, I make the Magrabs, every single one of them, 1 megawatt power station. But I know what to do. Why should I teach you? Because then it becomes cheat, it's the habit of the man. We have a beautiful word in Farsi, we call it taqallub, which means I want to cheat, copy and do, but don't want to understand. And they do that in exams, huh? They take a piece of paper in their pockets, they write in their arms, they put in the calculator, and at the end of it, we call it tajdeed. The ones who sit, don't fail the first exam, they have to sit at the end of the summer for the exam again. And this is the habit of the man. We cheat, and then we try to patch up. The thing is, you are tested continuously. It's you who have to understand it. And as I said, all these distributors with the Keshe Foundation, they were tested, they failed. The greed took them, but now we pass it on to their souls. But as I said, all their members, all their families are part of it, because that food was shared, what they stole from the soul of the Keshe Foundation, shared with their loved ones, so they have to pay for it. Write the history of those who worked with that team, and then you will understand. This is not to put you in fear. This is for you to understand how to behave correct. You didn't become supporters in the Suez Keshe Foundation. You came here to believe in the belief you had. So you sold your belief for a few pennies, then you have to go on, as we say, sit for the exam again. But this time you'll be tested through, as our wish, with your family. Let's see how you pass this one. It's very harsh, but as I said, my job is to help, to support, and to make example. This is how mankind unifies.
Mr. Keshe, can you take another question?
Yeah.
From Bente, regarding the Universal Body Enhancement Space Unit. First of all, she's wondering if there's a difference between high energy particles and high energy packs. And then can this Universal Body Enhancement Space Unit protect from either these high energy particles or high energy packs?
Can you, I lost you, you said protect what? Can you repeat? I lost you after the protect.
Right. Can the Universal Body Enhancement Space Unit protect the body and soul from high energy particles and or high energy packs during space travel?
You have to understand what is the difference between energy pack and energy particle. When you have a particle, you have become in a matter state. So then you have to deal with the physicality of the man. When you deal with the energy packs, then you have two things. You have one to do with the at what level energy that is. Does it touch the energy of the physical strength or the physical soul, or is it strong enough to interact with the level of the strength of the soul? So when you talk about energy particles, it's at the matter state. So it has to go through its normal interaction of releasing energy and absorbing energy and finding a balance. Would that in that process create changes in the physical dimension? That depends on the strength of the field of the particle. In respect to the soul of the man, if you understand the operation of the soul of the man, which is like, as I said, onion layers, you will absorb the fields in the strength of each layer. So, in a way, the soul has its own way of nourishing itself. The fields of the universe are absorbed at all levels, otherwise, the center will be empty soon. So, what it is at the field strength, as is the plasma, it handles a different strength. In operations, some tests we do, actually, even in past few days in the lab, as you know, I've become a lab rat, they call it. I'm back in developing, what do you call it, extending the knowledge of the man in physicality. We have sensors, and at the boards, in the same environment, we're measuring the strength. To a normal knowledge person, you just go for one strength and that's it. But because we have multiple senses, we see fields at the higher strength in the same position too, coming from the same sources. So it's very easy to, I mean, this always you find out the questions you put in always comes with the time of that. It's like your soul is aware of the knowledge. Now you want to bring the knowledge which I don't give you in a physical dimension. Your soul brings it and we have to answer it in physical dimension. It happens more or less 80% of the time you lot put questions in. Because now you're just the mouth for the word of the knowledge, the soul of the knowledge which has been shared. You will understand soon what it works and how it works. So we have done this. We have actually, we are testing this with different sensors in the same point from the same plasma. We're getting different strength. Of course it does. Because as I said, the strength of the fields is depending on the strength of the spectrum and what the spectrum you sit at, what the strength. Yes, is multi-strength. It's, if you look at the back of the book number, I think 3, The Creation of Universe, is clearly stated. This is how in the world of the theoretical physics, we call it kryptons, down clock, up clocks, we call it Earth, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, or we call it Milky Way in a bigger scale, or the other one is the manifestation of the field strength. And what the machine do depends how you go in and what you expect from the machine. The machine is a lover, and it can only give as much as you can receive and no more. It's not a taker. So if you think you can go and expect, I want to become this, you have already lowered yourself that you will not reach that point. If you go in the dimension of I give, you have to receive more because you have given. But you cannot do it with the intention because, as I told you, the machine understands the soul of the man. Any other question?
Yes, we have one more question from Bente regarding the enhancement unit.
Would you
How
like to
does it-
explain to everyone who Bente is? She's one of the oldest knowledge seekers. I think she's in her 80s, am I correct?
Well, her late 70s, I believe.
70s.
Yeah.
And she's very knowledgeable, and she tries to squeeze everything out of the knowledge that she's doing something with it, but we don't know what yet. Adding
Well,
to
she,
her soul, adding to her knowledge is very nice to hear from her. And she keeps on pushing for questions.
yeah,
I
she
think she has
mentioned
a
once.
problem a little bit with the soul, but it's okay. She's trying to find out what's going to happen to her soul, but it's good.
Yes, well, she's aware of that, but she does get involved with the questions like about salts and the various um, physicality things in a way. But she's always going back to the previous teachings and extracting even more levels of understanding from the same things. She got one level at a certain point, and then her level of understanding changes, and she goes back and she rereads the same things you, or re-listens to the same things you said or wrote before, and gets a new understanding of it, and not just once or twice but several times through. And regarding the salts, for example, her understanding is changing all the time. So this is an example of someone, despite being in the older part of her life, is a learner. She's a true knowledge seeker that's always trying to increase her knowledge and trying to let other people know and interact and try to make use of the technology and so on as well. So it's nice to see, and it's very encouraging. So she asks, second question about the enhancement unit. How does it balance the body back to original, as the body consists of a large variety of ganses and salts?
Would you like to answer it? I gave you the answer before the beginning. Let's examine you, Mr. Rickramond.
Well, you said there's that the physicality, or I'm not sure actually the physicality, but you said there's a control room or control panel, and that's the important thing to remember um, inside of ourselves. And I'm not talking about a control panel on the unit, but on the control is in us basically, and we can learn to create the conditions that we need. I I'm putting more into it there, but basically you mentioned control panel, I believe.
In a way, yes. Our body has a control system. The same as when you cut a piece of skin from your finger and then it grows back again, and you just say, oh, I used to have a cut here, but I don't see it anymore. The finger is the same as before. So the body, the brain, the soul of the man has a memory of the shape of the body of the man, doesn't need it to be there to build to it. It builds to it according to the strength of its fields. So there is a structure, a memory of the soul as much as the physicality, because every soul, every cell in the finger which you cut and throw it away, in the salad, for example, it's happened many times to me. My children say, oh, Papa's finger is here, this part of his body is with us, he made a mistake. So uh, this building of the physical condition to the boundary which it was before does not happen coincidentally. There is a memory bank both for the physical dimension and the soul of the cell. So in a way, our body has dual structure of remembering the soul which it needs that position, and the what we call the physicality which is needed to build that finger, for example. So in that process, when you understand, we walk through the soul, through the higher level fields of this system, this machine, then you understand when you go to these systems, you have to match that bank, that reference point of a strength. And this is how you find balance. It's not that the machine remembers, but you got to understand the machine has a soul too. These new systems we have built, not even the first generation, the second generation, which is the ones you will see, as you call it, a lot of people call it the egg now, um, the this enhancer systems, that's what they do. They have a point of reference, and the two have to be in balance. You have a universe, and you have two twin stars. The soul of the man is the universe. The soul of physicality and the point of manifestation of the cell, of the soul of the cell, is that twin star. When one is unbalanced, by elevating one, the other one becomes balanced. We don't carry something from outside to put in. We understand the inner operation of the soul of the man, the physicality of the man. And then when the soul of physicality is imbalanced and or is unbalanced, with receiving what the soul of the man gives, it comes in balance and you change. One feeds the other and the other one. It's like you have the sun, you have the earth, and then from it interaction, you have the body of the man. It's the same process. We create that condition to bring balance to the one which is weaker, that becomes balanced with the real one, which is in the memory bank of the soul of the man, or the memory bank of the physicality. The question was asked very recently, would these systems, as you remember last times, would this interfere with the RNA? Yes, it does. It corrects the RNA. This is where we are aiming at, not on the DNA. And when you correct RNA, most of what you call inherited diseases to the balance of the physicality will be resolved. In the case of what you see at the beginning, universal system, the gentleman has, there's no problem with the condition of physicality, but medical people, the medicine they have used for him, the side effects are so horrendous that it's damaged a lot. But we're still going and we're still repairing even the physical damage is done by the side effect of the medicine. We don't know these kind of damages in the Western medicine, but now we realize medicine made in China, as I've said before, even generic, especially when it comes to the cases like Parkinson and MS and the rest, these are guinea pigs. Just give it to them, we make money out of it, doesn't matter what it does, because they never come back. Now they're coming back. Now pharmaceuticals are answerable. How come they do these kind of damages? The Chinese government has to open a book of the pharmaceuticals, show us the book. How come there is so much damage done? You cannot blame it on the disease. This little dust of chokes, we call them medication, has become one of the biggest robberies of the physicality of the man. Any other question? I would like to thank our Chinese team in the background working and with the case. They're sending me continuously videos because the volunteers are in the hospital as we speak. And it's amazing how the man has changed. How we give life back to the man. How he can move again, he can talk again. For the first time yesterday, he has been talking to his wife, having a communication, having a conversation. Then you can imagine what pleasure brings back to your partner.
In that respect, we have a question from G-Man who asks, please explain more about cleaning up the past. It seems like in a way that's part of the process that's going on with this gentleman. He's cleaning up his recent past and sort of working backwards. And isn't that sort of the process in a way? You talk about the seeds when they're exposed to certain ganses, they revert back to their native origins, their genetic heritage, you might say. And in a way, is that the process of going back to the source, or back to the womb that you mentioned?
Can you try to explain it?
Well, I'm just trying to think about this idea from G-Man. Maybe he should actually ask it if he's still available, and I'll allow him to speak if he would like to open the microphone. I'm sort of putting words in his mouth, but this idea of cleaning up the past, in other words, something occurred in the past which contributed to the conditions that we find ourselves in now, and that if we clean up that that sort of a knot in our muscle, or a glitch in our electrical system, or however you like to present it, some kind of a thing, an event that caused us to start this process of maybe a cancer or some other disease that led to being disabled at some later date, let's say. Or it may be more an emotional basis. Just cleaning up the past allows us to be present.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead, G-Man.
Hi there. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for all you have done and continuously doing, and everybody else. It was Mr. Keshe's explanation about the planet Earth in that time earlier. He was explaining that how the soul of the planet Earth is crippled, and he mentioned at one point that unless the man in the process cleaning up the past, that's why I raised that question. It's what he meant by that is my question. Cleaning up the past.
What is your understanding?
It's kind of confusing for me because I have been it's been explained by some of the people of certain beliefs that it is there are things that affects our daily lives and us in a way that is from generations before. So, and I don't have the ability to digest that in a way to understand that. Is that what you meant?
You see, the life of the man is not just the DNA based, it's what we call RNA, or the soul of the man.
Yes.
Yeah. So we call the soul of the physicality RNA. Scientists have not understood that part of it yet. But so as much as just said about the what I call about the distributors, the lead will go in the direction of the what you call RNA, in direction of the soul, and in the line has to balance itself. So if the strength was not exist in past 200 generations for what 200 generation was done, and now the strength of such a horrendous act is now available or exist, then now it matches. You understand? It's as simple as that.
Yes.
We pay for the acts of our forefathers. Because if they've done such a horrendous thing, and it was so heinous in its structure, that no one at that level up to now was at that level of one receiving that, because magnetic fields only match when they are of the same strength. Now you find out in generation is balances. So balancing of that, it changes direction of the physicality and everything else we see with it. Am I clear? Hello?
I think his microphone might have gotten muted. Go ahead, G-Man.
Okay.
There's some
So
background
this
noise.
is,
If you can mute when you're not speaking, then that would be great. Thank you.
so this is important for us to understand how it works. It is, I listen to myself many times after teachings and I hear that important. What I say is important, it is important for you to understand. Otherwise, I don't put it there. The conduct of, the misconduct of, depends at what level of strength you have created joy, will come back to become joy at that level when your ancestors reach that level of their soul level. And you receive, they receive elevation of their soul because now it matches. And then you find out, we call it in English from rags to riches, not necessarily financially. And then say where it came from. And we have a word which is a blessing from your forefathers. When you get to the point that you can serve humanity and your physical condition is just a tool to do to bring pleasure, comfort to other souls, and you're there at that point, partially maybe because what you accumulated, partially is from what your forefathers have done, that they accumulated, they created that peak, now the peak has to match. And then you're the delivery, you're the one who achieved that point that you can cash in. It's like you have to add the numbers up. When you get to that number, you get your credit. It's the same with those who do wrong. But through that elevation, who has done that wrong? They pick up your child, hits the mark. Why? One day I write about the history of what happened in Italy, and I make example of the distributors and what they did to those of the Keshe Foundation who were entrusted that they support to build. Your children and your grandchildren and your wives and yourselves and the people around you will balance the book. That's my wish. I can talk now because I have put everything right. But that's as my responsibility, right? You have to balance your works. You were tested, you failed. And my wish is that you have to balance it with your own bloodline. And my wish is very quick. You were there as trustees. You betrayed the trust. I tell you to come unless and go and rob. Are you a robber? Are you a thief? Or if you join, you have become one. So you know the consequences of it.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
And we have Jalal with his hand up here. Would you like to jump in, Jalal?
That's why I open my hand. I don't want to jump.
Be careful you don't break your leg.
No, sir. Good day, Mr. Keshe.
Morning, Jalal.
Mr. Keshe said about the enhancement unit. You said it's like a lover gives from where it takes the energy, or
We have
from where
built
it
it.
receives.
We have built the universal unit that it receives universal energy. One day mankind will understand. These are the gifts, and is the knowledge of universe. You know, if you go to the culture of Iran, we had scientists who with one candle kept the public path, which is like a swimming pool, hot water, that with one candle could boil the water for decades. The bath was going. And the British came to find out how one candle can create such a heat that the whole village or city could go and bath in it every day with hot water. He understood the knowledge of energy transfer. It wasn't the candle. The candle was a myth because man wanted to see something. These systems are the same as that candle. You have to understand the way we construct it, the way it is and built. And the ones which built by me will last the time of the man. Don't forget, as I said, this planet was made by this wrong soul, and we see what happens to its citizens. Those who try to copy and do what they don't understand, you will see how they turn up out of these copy machines, what they try to copy. Diseases never existed, and there's something wrong with the machine. Look at it if it says, done by Keshe Foundation Austria. This time, I don't leave a position for those who are abusive to play games, because it's my responsibility not to let them to abuse, to understand it. Anybody for a nice Iranian tea?
Is it like the difference between what your batches when you do it and the other knowledge seekers batches?
Of course, I carry the soul of the universe. The rest is physicality.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
You will understand very, very soon.
We are in the in the way to understand it.
So far, we're still knowledge seekers. Perhaps we need to become knowledge finders instead.
You never know. Easter is very near. See where you can find the egg in the garden.
Maybe that's our new series, the Knowledge Finders Workshop. Mr. Keshe, is this universal energy that you speak of just now, is that related to what the so-called those who call themselves scientists say, cosmic rays or other
Cosmic
forms?
rays is the totality of the fields of the creation, if you explain it that way. And part of that ray became you and your soul.
And is that what we tie into to be able to access the self-sufficient energy and other
It is.
attributes?
So, of course it is, because put it this way, we are made of it. If we know how to tune to it, to our soul, as we are weaker, it will feed us. This is what a lot of knowledge seekers don't understand. And I keep on saying you don't understand. Why do you keep on telling us? You're not stupid. Because you really don't understand. You have not understood the work of the universe. We have a couple of Iranians who are reaching. Iranians are very soul connected. It becomes part of the Islamic teaching. It brings a lot of things. In Christianity, if you have time on the Sunday, you go to church. In synagogue, you go on a Friday because you have to put the money in if somebody can do business. That's what the synagogues are for, is the business centers. The Muslims, they are reminded to their own submission of weakness 17 times a day. So they become more unaware of their own, what you call, those are true Muslims. Plus his name Muhammad has taught them that way. And they follow that path. And they are very close to their soul. They become aware of their humbleness, but in the way of strength of their soul. And we see the technology has fitted into Yan and Yin with the Chinese, but has found home in the soul of Iran. Because Iranians are not Arabs, which is a totally different structure. Iranians are so much closer to the understanding of the operation of their life. And I see a mass exodus of souls to the Iranian community around the world, because they understand it through the teaching of the Zoroaster, and in a way submission of their lack of understanding of totality through Islam. And gradually mankind will come in light in that way. Maybe that's why I was given the line of life to be born in Iran. As I said before, where I lived, where my bed used to be, is the center of one of the biggest prayer places in Tehran, built by Ayatollah Khamenei in the north of Tehran. When I was there the last time, I went to look, and it's just there because I knew where my room was. And they built one of the biggest land, what do you call it, mosques in Iran. And the moment my return to Iran has become a dilemma for the government. Any other question? There is something which I would like to discuss, as we are setting up different things. In a way, thanks to the support of Northern Europeans. As we asked the Germans to return one of the systems which was with them, and we asked for a second one, we received a bill for 8,000. We respond the following. The Keshe Foundation Austria, as an entity, is setting up a clinic with 3 systems. German speaking who supported us have to decide, would you like this system in one place in Austria that you can all use, or you like it to be spread across Germany and Austria? This is something which I know says in German community, you gave us a small gift back, which we gave you as a gift. We are giving you 3 gifts, as is the tradition of the wise men of Iran. So if you, in your discussions, I know you have in the background, decide as a community where you want and how you want these three gifts to be shared amongst German community. Do not forget that you have 2 clinics opening. There'll be many clinics. This is the beginning of a lot of work of different patterns, and we are part of all of it. Keshe Foundation stays partner with everything. But as we requested, you returned 1 back. We're giving you 3 back instead. You gave us a very small thing back, which was out of your sincerity and correct conduct, and we're giving you a bigger gift back. I would like to ask the German community to talk amongst each other and let us know how you want this to be set up for Germans to travel across to Austria to receive the beauty of this system, or you want to spread it or put it one in amongst the other centers we are opening. As you know, the 2 or 3 centers are to be opened in Germany in January, and it's important for us to return what we call a gift you gave back to us as we asked you. Is now you understand when we told you is obsolete, as obsolete, and the other unit which is kept to ransom can stay. It'll be a historical thing, and I advise many people not to use it because you understand now the reason for it. And tell us how you want it. You German speaking, German and Austria has to decide. You want to split these 3 across Germany in other clinics, that is part of the foundation, or you want us to collectively put it in one position as part of the center. It still covers the same way as is the ethos of the foundation. Those who can't afford will pay, those who can afford will pay for its use. And those who want to have the pleasures of life with it is there till we can organize it. And in that sense, we need a number of German doctors who are around the foundation to collaborate with us to run these centers from now on. The same goes with the Arizona, what you call health centers, or what we call regeneration centers that you can go to. And we received a lot of inquiries from a lot of you that we can collect part of it. I know my good friend Mark House in Golden Age of Cancer is trying to sort out something. If any of you come to a point, Keshe Foundation will support the rest. There's a reason for it, and it's part of my belief. When people receive a gift free, we get the position we have with Germany. It becomes a problem position. So you always, as I said, when you pay for something, you have respect for it. And as long as it's part of it, the foundation will participate in the rest of it. Many people like to share and run, and they can come with part of the finances. We will keep to our reported condition that it'll stay at 150,000 till January 1st, and then we move up to 500,000, and then we move it up to 1 million. The reason for this is to substantially release the factories and the structure we need to build to support the ethos of the foundation. It's not why we are charging 70, 150 or 200. We waited, none of you contributed. As I said, bunch of what do you call it, those who had a first opportunity to have the foundation in the back as distributors, they did. So we don't allow any of the distributors to play with us this way. We distribute the wealth amongst all the knowledge seekers. And so in that way, if you do, we are here to share with you as a foundation. The important for us thing is to be able to build as many factories, as many what we call positions, that each part of this planet is becoming self-sufficient in food and everything else, in agriculture and health. The thing is, we have to create jobs that man does not get bored. And playing these games is like playing what I call the structure to keep people busy. And when you close all these arm factories and you close all these military bases and we have no more soldiers, what are we going to do with billion soldiers and arm manufacturing companies we have set up? We have to find a job for them or put them on the spaceship and send them into the space. And then they become a problem of the others in the space unless we change their souls too. Yes, my little boy. The understanding is those of you, because we're getting many inquiries that how can I get help? Can I use this system? These systems will be in operation in January 1st at the same time simultaneously in the beautiful city of Tehran and in Arizona. I made a commitment that I'll bring peace between two nations, and this is part of my work. And in that way, we um, as I said to the Iranian officials in the embassy, they said, Mr. Keshe, if the Iranian scientists go to America, they will come back. So we better do it in Iran that we keep them, at least become balanced with everything else. So to the wishes of my government, we keep the same way and we take the beauty of the knowledge back to where it came from. And in so many ways, if you want to have access or to share or be partner, come up with it. We put bunch of you, don't need to go anywhere else. We're trying to. We make groups which each section, whatever, and foundation become part of it. We become part of your work. And we'll see how we can support you and how we can build it. Coming with, so we want to have 5,000, 10,000 does not work because everything has to, at this moment of time, to be paid, to be set up, and you stay in charge of running these things, the people you appoint. We are there to make sure it's done and the knowledge is spread, because it's not just buying the systems, it's knowing how you manage your cases, how you advise, how you run systems. And it comes by one, what we set up as a central, what we call medical center worldwide, that all the doctors and all the scientists, people who use this technology in their what we call the centers, have a central position. They can go back to very immediately, 24 hours a day manned with top doctors, scientists that they can support you. And these things will come not in a easy way. It needs to be set up. We are setting up a new world structure. Sharing knowledge, respecting knowledge, at the same time, understanding the application of the knowledge. The Arizona will be set like a very much a spaceship structure, and you understand how that was the wishes of the what do you call the Arizona. They came up with a suggestion and we support it because it can bring a lot of things. And at the same time, we work to change position of governments. In our meeting in different governments with different conferences in the coming time, we are targeting governments directly, or we are negotiating with ministers and ambassadors to build the next step. We have a team in the background, that's their job to do. And in a way, we waited for 10 years for you to donate the foundation to become enough to do everything. You did not do, so we set a condition that we donate to ourselves to be able to do what we came here to do. If you say the machine is so expensive, we gave you a generator free, you abused it, you never saw the beauty of it, and you blamed us for magnet. But one day when I show you how the magnets work, you say, my God. But that's your problem, not mine. So we hear a lot of people making complaints that 150,000, not 500,000. You abused us. We are putting it right to be able to do what we came for. We don't make temples and churches, but we make a condition to create peace by the effort of the man. These centers, these factories will run by you for your part of the planet and for the rest of the humanity, to make sure it doesn't become a handout, because we all need a hand to get out of this situation. If you want to, you can put what you say, I have so much to put, And we another person comes, I have so much to put, we put you together, and this is what we see the patch widths. 4 or 5 or 10 of you, foundation puts a part of it, and you become part of, and you can help yourself, maybe because you're putting it in, or it becomes part of helping the others, but any incomes from it becomes your income, as it sounds on the structure of the foundation work. We have a lot of people who would like to do something or be part of it, and I see uh, what you call Mark is doing a lot of work. Divert it, send them all back to foundation. We have a solution. We already done this agreement with a number of groups. Those of who come to me, I can pay for 1 full unit. We tell them let's do for 3. Foundation will put 1/3 in. We support it. We take part of it, and that way we create a solid base health centers with 3, 5, and 10 units, and we structure it the way it should be, to be a place that you see the new technology, and in a way is the way it has to be. So those of you who are asking for, can we use this, can we, how we come, you have, you don't need any more middlemen, no distributors. Write to the foundation, put a case exactly to the foundation, and we put your teams, your people together. Somebody's got so much, someone's got so much, said this is the package, this is part of what you are together, how much you want to do it, where you want it. Unless you invest for personal, what do you call, interest, that's different. After January, we will go into March, April, and May deliveries. The orders will stack up that we cannot, we have a certain production limits of that we have to meet, and we try to keep to around about 1,000 to 2,000 a week by midsummer. And what we see, orders from the other structures coming in will keep us busy, that it keeps the foundation and its tall, that it brings what we want. We are not short of orders. We are in a way understanding how we can distribute it that is everywhere, that everybody can benefit by it. But you have to pay this time to structure it how you want it. It's not a magra we can use it at home. It's a system you put it out for humanity to use it. You have to have that kind of understanding. Now you see how we use the structure and the technology to bring mankind to work collectively for the betterment of not just themselves but the humanity. We're not a charity. We set up to change the structure. You will have 2 centers at the moment, what we see possible in Canada. The Arizona Center, there are a lot of Americans who would like to do something. Go directly to the mother, don't talk to halfway. Let us, we respond back to you, we put it together. We have a small understanding of the, what we call refunds, which is created out of betrayals of Italy. We'll cover it in the next few days, in the next couple of weeks. And that'll become out of history, but you'll learn how a bunch of thieves have created this position. It's good to know that you understand it's not a problem of the foundation, it's a problem of those who betray the foundation. And you will see how it will go. And it'll be very interesting how it was set up to help all of you, and you are there to help yourselves with the others. No more middlemen. Middlemen have betrayed those who gave them the bread line. And my wish is very simple. With them, they don't understand. Let them be paid by those who love. They will understand very soon what they've done, because they hurted a lot of those who were in love with the foundation and they gave their life. Teaching of Christ, you're all Christians, those who betrayed. Tooth for a tooth, eye for an eye. But this tooth is very long. Any other question?
We have a question from Ricardo Mansour of Brazil. Was Mr. Keshe influenced by Sufi knowledge?
I know nothing about Sufism. I've seen them dancing, that's all I know. Actually, I have a cousin who's a Sufi.
I thought you mentioned something about Sufis one time in the past.
I understand the Sufism, but I have no connection with it.
Mm-hmm.
Sufism is the rhythm of the physicality with the stress, with the line of thoughts. In Judaism, you rock, and with it, you put the soul of the man. If you see like a pendulum, you rock your head. Have you seen the Jews how they rock themselves? There is a scientific reason for it. The two fields of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality cross each other, so the continuously release energy is like a addiction, and puts you in that position. Sufism is centralizing the emotion and the soul, the physicality, the soul of physicality and soul of the man in line, if you understand it. And in so many ways, you have one straight line, it's like a volcanic eruption. And you reach a different level of understanding and connection between the soul of the man and the physicality.
Would it be, that would be a way of getting, say, closer to the source, you might say?
No, it clears the point to getting the higher level, but still has certain dimensions. You see, with the drugs, you touch the physical coordination of the brain, electronic side. With religion, you are supposed to interact between or connect between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. But all the religions have abused the soul of physicality. Punishment of physicality and the rest. In a way, we moved up to the soul of the man, and that is what you create with the same situation as what I say with the position changing of your own conduct. If somebody goes out to damage you or has done a damage and whatever, you moving to a position to protect yourself from the damages, it allows and creates a new position for the soul. And this has to be understood. This is what you will face in the open spans of the universe. Man has to understand the position of the two, because when you go in the depth of the universe, is you who decides the position of the soul of the physicality through the strength of the soul of the man. It's like the proton and electron. The electron comes inside the proton to make a neutron. And then the neutron decides in what position the electron is going to be and what facility does it make. Is it just one electron positioning with one proton that become a hydrogen, or is the same neutron, but this time the electron has to sit in the outer fourth ring or whatever ring, but it still has the same connection to the same neutron. How weak am I going to make it that it brings the totality and coordination of existence? If you look in the, what they call it, methodology of the physics, one hydrogen and one, what do you call it, atom with one electron and one proton is the same hydrogen as a neutron and one electron and proton in plutonium. But why does an electron of one neutron move so far out away and one stays so close? What is the purpose? How do they adjust themselves? How do they accept positioning? And this is what mankind has to understand. which part of the cluster am I to serve the totality? I have my little boy with me today, and he's cuddling and asleep. He has a gorgeous soul, Mr. Topoli, huh? I think that's, you can hear him breathing. He's just snoring for himself. He has a gorgeous white soul, the same as his skin. Any other question?
There was a question from Gerard in the live stream earlier. He says, is it correct to say the medical unit is in fact nothing more than an applied physical filter for the soul in the conversion from plasmatic to the matter state?
No. No, it's the reverse. We're trying to get your soul moved. You had enough with physicality. What did you do with it for billions of years? You created more problem for yourself. People who go in these systems will come up different mad. You will understand.
So we're moving from the matter state to the plasmatic state rather than the other way
Elevation
around.
of the soul of the man.
Mr. Keshe,
Yes.
it's Caroline here. A question, please. When we separate from our, what you call the cage as the body of the man, the soul knows where it's positioning itself, yes?
Yeah.
What you're teaching us is that to travel together with the soul and the physicality of the man.
No, I teach you, part of the teaching is to understand you have now a choice of time, place, position, and physicality. And this is the freedom which man never had, and those in the name of the religion who never understood abused it. We will see in the coming time the collapse of all the present religions, very, very shortly. And then in that process, many people lose their, what they call center point, point of focus, because now it's not there, what we're going to do. Very much what the state of Austria went through in 2004, 2005. And the nation has not recovered from it, and never recover from it, where the people have found out that the priests have abused every child more or less in the church. And they used to have 93, 95% attendance of the nation in every Sunday church, and they dropped to 3%. And those 3% are those who are hoping that one day they find a way out of this mess. People become wise to it. And we see 10, 15 years down the line, church has not recovered because now they know the truth, and we see more and more of it coming out around the world, the abuses. And this is the views of children. Very soon people understand churches abuse their souls and their physicality. That's when the mayhem comes. That's when they burn the churches and the mosques and the rest down. Because the job of these people was to elevate the souls, not to steal from their souls. It's very much, as I said, with the stock holding in America, with the Macrae, the same thing as those who were in Italy. The balance will come very direct through their own operation. I don't need to do anything. I just know how the system works and I put it in action. Yes, Mr. Tony.
So the freedom of man will come when they start understanding to work as one humanity in a peaceful manner. That is where you're referring to, then they can operate in the universe more freely.
In a way, you have to understand when the man works, when the man elevates as a soul of the man, as totality, then you understand when a man goes onto the moon, the soul of the man goes to the Mars, then he knows he's that electron from the totality and he cannot do wrong, because then he damages or changes the position of totality. What I do wrong or I do something in a wrong way as a soul of a representative of the man in this point will damage all those souls back on earth. This is what it is about. Understanding that the damage is just the positioning it. They have to find a new position, and you can see how much souls have all to move and change for one mistake. Because it's the way it is. You put 1,000 magnets on the table and you pick the smallest one on it. You'll see all of them. This is what man has to understand. This is what's the message of the messenger.
Now another question, Mr. Keshe. All the souls that have already separated from the physicality as a soul, you explained to us that they already know the totality of the universe and the understanding of the universe. Is it when man goes to explorations in the physicality to prevent them from doing wrong when they, let's say, land on planet Moon or somewhere else in the universe, that they always regard that they have to have the correct conduct towards from where they came from, no matter where they
And
will
to where
travel?
they are, both.
Yes, yes, vice versa. But isn't that how it could be explained, that how this planet was created, because you say it's crippled, to prevent that kind of way of creation?
And exactly, that's what it's supposed to do.
So,
The planet, put it this way, this solar system is a misfit. And due to his own positioning and strength. And a misfit has created misfit children. And that misfit children has created misfit grandchildren, which is mankind. That's all it is. We have a beautiful saying in Farsi. We say, um, if you put one foundation, brick of foundation wrong, doesn't matter how the whole building as you build on it will go on the wrong way because the foundation is wrong. As I said before, I put samples, examples of what it is. Write about the history of the life of children, grandchildren, and if goes to grandchildren of Red Circle, and see their position, what will happen to them. Because mankind has learned by reference, and these will become very much like what we say, the guy when Christ says he'll deny me 3 times by morning, and then those who put him on the cross, see what happened to them. They have to live within their souls. Doesn't matter what they write in the pen. Shall we call it a day today? We are nearly 1 o'clock.
Yes, we're in.
Thank you very
Go.
much for today. Our next session, the 301, will come from the beautiful city of Brasilia, where we are for the guests of the Brazilian Keshe Foundation community for the 3-day conference with the officials and the government and the ambassadors. I thank the whole team in the background organizing these things and facilitating all this to happen so smoothly. From there we go to Morocco. We would like to see the Arabic-speaking knowledge seekers in Morocco with us, that we carry the spirit of, and the Universal Council member of the what we call Arabic-speaking Jamila will be with us in Morocco. And the same when we go to Malta and then Kenya. And of course we will be on the way to Mexico in February. But sometimes in January we're trying to find the time and the place that I'll be in Tehran for the opening of the first space body, what we call universal system. And at the same time we try to do the same thing in Arizona and possibly in China. That this time the knowledge is shared instantaneously across the planet. And we become at least the creator of the man's peace in the soul level. Thank you very much for today. And please understand, we are here to create peace on this planet, not mayhem of the pieces. That time is over, it's finished. Thank you very much for today.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And thank you to all the people who participated and asked questions today, and all the various avenues, the live streaming and live. And we look forward to next week's workshop, the Knowledge Seekers Workshop, coming from Brazil. That sounds great. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for all the news and explanations and knowledge you've provided in the last 300 Knowledge Seekers Workshops. And we look forward to continuing with the new topics and new avenues that you open up. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And this has been the 300th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, October 31st, 2019. Bye for now, and we'll see you next time.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate